Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network and the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And of course, be heard on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio.com, excuse me, Podcast Addict. We're on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Castbox, all over the podcast world. You can hear the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And this week, we are going to preview not one, not two, but three Beltway cards that are taking place here in the area in a 7-day period coming up later in October. And it's going to be a lot of fun, no question about that. We're also going to talk about the start of the Washington Golden Gloves, amateur boxing in the Beltway. That'll be coming up as well. And then we're going to pay tribute to a man who I had the privilege of working with for 21 years. And he is getting his tributes, thankfully, while he is still with us. He's getting his accolades while he's still with us. I'm so happy for that. I wish it could have been at the event that they had for him, but I'm going to pay him his tributes here. And again, I had the utmost pleasure of working with this man. We'll talk more about that at the end of this podcast. Beltway Boxing, Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you as always by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief, now endorsed by two-time World Heavyweight Champion Big George Foreman. So try his knockout formula for Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. Well, as you said, the Beltway boxing scene is indeed heating up very, very quickly. Of course, we had one card since February of 2020, but now we have three Beltway boxing cards coming up, and it'll be in a 7-day period from Saturday, October 23rd to Saturday, October 30th. And so we're going to preview those cards today. We're going to do it in chronological order. No deciding on which card is better and all that. But we're going to do it all in chronological order. We're going to start with the card that takes place on Saturday, October 23rd at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. And this will be a Jeter Promotions card. Tony and Kristen Jeter. Of course, they have some great cards in Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena. But they're coming back home to what has been their home base over the years. They've done an outstanding job at Live Casino. In fact, back in February of 2020, that was the last Beltway card before the COVID. And that was an outstanding card at Live Casino. And this one should be a good one as well. The main event is a 10-round contest in the super featherweight division between Washington, D.C.'s Jordan Short Dog White and Smokin' Joe Perez of San Diego, California. Now, White is 11-1, 9 KOs. He's coming off perhaps his biggest win to date, and this was an outstanding win on national television. It was a 6-round TKO victory over Misael Lopez. That was on March 10th in Uncasville, Connecticut. And Jordan fought probably the best I've seen him fight in his pro career. He fought an outstanding bout in that bout against Lopez. Perez, however, is 15-5-2, 10 KOs. He looks to bounce back from a 6-round split decision loss to Gilbert Venegas on June 19th in Davenport, Iowa. So again, Jordan Short Dog White on a roll right now. He's fought outstandingly well, I should say, and he should be in good shape against Smokin' Joe Perez. Now, the co-features an 8-round bout between Laurel, Maryland super middleweight Damon the Best at it Nicholson. He'll take on Victor the Spartan Da Rocha of Miami, Florida, by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, Nicholson, 23-4-1, 20 KOs, looks to bounce back from an 8-round unanimous decision loss to Edgar Berlanga. That was on April 24th in Kissimmee, Florida. That was also on national TV on ESPN. And Nicholson, actually, I thought fought very well in the bout against Edgar Berlanga. He was indeed the first boxer to take Berlanga the distance. Berlanga has fought since then. He went the distance again. So Berlanga's quality opposition has grown, starting with Nicholson. Nicholson, I thought, fought outstandingly, but I thought Berlanga won the bout. No question about that. But Nicholson did fight very well. So he's kind of taking a half step back, kind of regroup. taking on DeRocha, who is 9-5-1, 6 KOs. He hasn't fought since September of 2019 when he won a 4-round unanimous decision over Mark Anderson in Miami. So that'll be an 8-round bout. Devon Nicholson battling Victor DeRocha in the co-feature on this Jetta Promotions card on Saturday, October 23rd. Now, in a 6-round bout, undefeated Gwynn Oak, Maryland featherweight Brandon the Hitter Chambers. He'll take on Blake Quintana of Nebraska, who is also undefeated. And this will be a first 6-rounder for both men, and it'll be for the vacant American Boxing Federation, ABF, Atlantic featherweight title. Chambers is 5-0-1, 3 KOs. He stopped Don Stewart in his last contest on August 7th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Quintana is 4-0, 1 KO, coming off a 4-round unanimous decision, a win over Christopher Hawkins on March 22nd in Grand Island, Nebraska. So Chambers, who's also a police officer in Baltimore, and fighting outstandingly well, and he looks to win again for the ABF Atlantic featherweight title against Blake Quintana. Now, Baltimore, Maryland, super middleweight Anthony Leon Williams Jr., he's also known as A.J. We Are Williams. He'll be in a 6-round rematch encounter against Ricardo Vasquez Becerril of Kinston, North Carolina. Now, the two men fought each other on August 7th in Philadelphia. That was on the last 2300 arena card that was the Jetta Promotions card. And Williams won a 4-round unanimous decision in that bout. Williams is 4-1, 2 KOs. He hasn't fought since that bout, while Becerril at 2-9-1, both wins by KO, lost a 6-round unanimous decision to Darrell Van Horn Jr., and that was on August 27th in Dearborn, Michigan. So A.J. We Are Williams, Anthony Leon Williams Jr., he takes on Ricardo Vasquez Becerril. It'll be a rematch scheduled for 6 rounds. Germantown, Maryland featherweight Ibrahima Jawara. He'll take on undefeated Christian Veneno Otero of New York City. This will be a bout scheduled for 6 rounds as well. In his last outing, Jawara 4-1, 1 KO, captured a 6-round unanimous decision over Philip Davis, and that was on the live casino card we referenced in February of 2020. Otero has scored a 2nd-round TKO over Edward Hatler on March 6th in Jonesboro, Georgia. Otero is 3-0, two of those wins by KO. That'll be a 6-round bout. Ibrahima Jawara battling Christian Otero. Now, an all Beltway super bantamweight 4-rounder, Jakeem Hutchinson of Forestville, Maryland. He battles the returning Ernest Hall of Baltimore, Maryland. Hutchinson is 2-0, won both of his 2021 bouts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania by 4-round unanimous decisions. Hall is 3-1, 1 KO. He has not fought since March of 2018. He lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Ricky Tomlinson. That was in Clearwater, Florida. So that should be an interesting bout. Kind of early, but again, Hall has not fought since 2018. Hutchinson's 2-0, but he's won by unanimous decision. So we'll see what happens in that bout. Baltimore, Maryland super welterweight Bazooka Joe Veazey. He'll be in a 4-round contest against Ryan Wilson of South Carolina. Veazey's 4-0, 3 KOs. He looks to build on a 1st-round TKO win over Leonidas Folks on July 10th in Vienna, West Virginia. Let me stop there for a quick second, because I believe it was after this particular bout, Folks ended up missing. And right now, I don't know whether or not he was found, alive or dead. Please let us know either on Twitter at Digital25. You can text me here in the chat here on Spreaker.com, or email me at beltwayboxing@hotmail.com. Let me know what happened to Leonidas Folks. I don't know whether or not they found him, or whether or not he is in at problem. I don't know. I really don't know. But hopefully he is well. So Veazey's 4-0, 3 KOs. Wilson, meanwhile, is 1-0, 1 KO. He won his pro debut on June 19th in Columbia, South Carolina. 1st-round knockout of Dylan Williams. So that's a 4-round bout. Joe Veazey taking on Ryan Wilson. Accokeek, Maryland, junior featherweight Shamar Flowers. He takes on Baltimore's Antonio Dunston L. Jr. in a 4-round encounter. Shamar Flowers won his pro debut with a 4-round unanimous decision over Ellie Charles. That was on July 10th in Newark, New Jersey. Now, Dutton L. hasn't fought since October of 2019. He battled to a 4-round draw in his pro debut against Blaze Fiedler Hernandez. That was at Live Casino in October 2019. So, and by the way, Blaze Fielder Hernandez, I believe, has retired from the ring. I don't think he is fighting anymore. So we wish him the best, no question about that. Antonio Duntonell is returning for the first bout since October 2019. So that is the card. Saturday, Saturday, October 23rd at the Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland, the Jetta Promotions card. Now, let's talk about the Rising Star Promotions card that'll be on Friday, October 29th at the Entertainment Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. Now, Rising Star Promotions is run by Thomas Cornflake Lamanna, and he was scheduled to do a card a few months back, and supposed to have Dusty Hernandez Harrison on that card, but apparently that card was canceled, so he's trying to do it here. This will be at the Entertainment Sports Arena in Southeast Washington, D.C. Now, this card is still developing, but there have been a few bouts that are signed, and one of them will be a 10-round bout for the vacant WBC Continental Americas Featherweight Championship. It'll match two local boxers, Hyattsville, Maryland's Kobia the Soldier Breedy, taking on Silver Spring, Maryland's Suleiman Segawa. That'll be about scheduled for 10 rounds. Now, Breedy is 15-1, 5 KOs. He has not fought since losing his first bout in his career, the 12-round split decision to Tutskot Nyambayar. That was on September 2020 in Uncasville, Connecticut. And I thought Breedy fought very well in that bout. I really did. It could have gone either way. Breedy just maybe got started a little late and came back and fought Nyambayar very, very well going forward. So, again, a very tough loss there. Segawa, who's originally from Uganda, by the way, Breedy's originally from Barbados. Segawa is 13-3-1, 4 KOs. He returns to the action for the first time since November of 2020 when he lost by 7th round KO to Jermaine Ortiz. That was in Los Angeles, California. And that bout was for the WBC USNBC Silver Lightweight title. So this will be Segawa's second straight title opportunity. Again, this bout scheduled for the WBC Continental Americas Featherweight Championship. So, 10-round bout, Kobia the Soldier Breedy of Hyattsville, Maryland, against Silver Spring, Maryland, Suleiman Segawa. All right, that's the main event for that card. There'll be a 6-round light heavyweight contest between Greenbelt, Maryland's Vanilla Gorilla Sam Crossett and veteran Ronald Salvaje Montez of Barranquilla, Colombia. Crossett, is 11-1, 7 KOs. He's won 2 straight bouts since suffering his first loss in February 2020. That came against Nick Kisner. And he is back on the beam a little bit here. And both wins were by 4th round TKO, and it took place in Agua Prieta, Puerto Rico. So Crossett went overseas to into the Caribbean to take on a couple of boxers and won by first round TKO in both bouts. Montez is 19-14, 17 KOs. He recently broke a 7-bout losing streak with a 3rd round stoppage of Evaristo Tordesillas. That was on September 24th in Santiago de Tolu, Colombia. So this will be an interesting bout here. Crossett trying to get back on track, keep going, and he turns to the Entertainment Sports Arena for this bout against Ronald Montez of Colombia. Fredericksburg, Virginia heavyweight Christopher Arnold. He'll battle the debuting Tariq Maven of Vineland, New Jersey in a 4-round bout. Now, Arnold's 3-0, all 3 of his wins by knockout. He'll make his Beltway debut after competing in both Atlanta, Georgia, and Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, other local boxers scheduled for this card include former WBO super lightweight champion DeMarcus Chop Corley, who's 51-33-1 with 28 KOs. Undefeated Baltimore super bantamweight Dominic Crowder, 10-0, 6 KOs. We have 2 DC welterweights not going against one another, but also on the card. Cornell Hitman Hines, 5-1, 2 KO. And the young man a lot of people are talking about, Jaleel Major Hackett, is 1-0 and 1 KO with 1 KO. Fort Washington, Maryland lightweight Donnell Poe, the former Marine, he's 1-0, 1 KO. And Fort Washington featherweight Mark the Monster Johns, 7-2-2 with 6 KOs. So that is the card as of right now for Friday, October 29th. It'll be at the Entertainment Sports Arena, the Rising Star Promotions card coming up at the Entertainment Sports Arena. Then on Saturday, October 30th, and I don't know who's promoting this card yet. I have not heard, But this will be a card that'll take place at the Hilton Hotel in downtown Baltimore. All right, this will be on Saturday, October 30th. And the main event is scheduled to feature Clinton, Maryland super lightweight Kareem Remo Martin. He'll be in a 10-round bout for the vacant ABF, American Boxing Federation, USA super lightweight title against an opponent to be determined. Martin is 14-2-1, 4 KOs, has a 5-bout winning streak, but he has not fought since December of 2019. So we'll see what happens with Martin. I know there's been a couple of opponents that's supposed to be on this card, but when I last looked at BoxRec, those opponents were gone. So it was a vacant situation there for Kareem Martin. So he'll be in the main event there in a 10-round bout scheduled for the vacant ABF USA super lightweight title. Baltimore super featherweight Malik King Warren. He'll compete in his first scheduled 6-rounder. He matches up against Arturo de Islas of Monterrey, Mexico. Warren is 5-0, all 5 of his wins by knockout. He last fought on April the 10th. He scored a first-round knockout over Deron Jenkins in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, the Islas 2-0, 1 KO comes to the United States for the first time after winning both his bouts in his hometown of Monterrey, Mexico. So that's Malik King Warren in a 6-round super featherweight bout. Baltimore female super featherweight Mia Killer B. Ellis. She'll be in a 4-round contest against Sarah Switch Kick Click of Buzzard Bay, Massachusetts. Ellis is 2-0, 2 KOs, scored a first-round TKO over Myasia Oglesby on January 30th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Click is 0-1-1. She hasn't fought since September of 2018 when she battled Shayna Farpiano to a 4-round draw in Lincoln, Rhode Island. And Click has also done some work in Muay Thai boxing as well. So we'll see what happens there. Mia Killer B. Ellis. And again, time has flown. I remember when she was just a little girl in Baltimore. Of course, her father, Kenny Ellis, the great trainer, would get her going. And she fought some great amateur bouts. So it's really nice to see her as a pro. And so far, she's doing very well. Looking for a 3rd straight win. Laurel, Maryland super middleweight Manzaboy the Punisher Condi will take on Bilal Quintin of Marietta, Georgia. That bout is scheduled for 4 rounds. Condi is 3-0, 2 KOs. He got a 3rd-round stoppage over William Lorenzo on April 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia. Quintin is 1-0, 1 KO, winning his pro debut on March 27th in Decatur, Georgia, scoring a 3rd-round TKO over Stephen Andrade. So that should be an interesting bout there, no question about that. And also on the card, Upper Marlboro, Maryland super lightweight Stacy Selby. He's 3-0, all 3 of his wins by KO. He's also scheduled for the card, and he's up against an opponent to be determined. We don't know who his opponent will be yet. So those are the cards for the 7-day period between Saturday, October 23rd and Saturday, October 30th. Once again, Saturday, October 23rd, we're at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland for the Jetta Promotions card. Friday, October 29th, the Rising Star Promotions card at the Entertainment Sports Arena in D.C. And then we go back to Baltimore for the card that takes place on Saturday, October 30th at the Hilton Hotel in Baltimore, Maryland. Again, I still got to find out who's promoting that particular card. I don't think it's Shabazz Promotions, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, if that wasn't enough, folks, we have the start of the Washington Golden Gloves coming up on Saturday, October 23rd at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. Now, they've kind of truncated these Golden Gloves this year by Magruder and Company, and they're going to start with the quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals will be just in the novice and the open divisions. I don't know what they're going to do or if they're going to do anything with the junior division, but the novice and open division will be on Saturday, October 23rd. Now, the card itself, the bout sheet, is on the Boxing on Beltway blog. So go to boxingonthebeltway.blogspot.com and we'll talk that shows you the entire card for this coming Friday, October 23rd. Now, the first bout will begin at 7:30 p.m. So let me give you now the entire Golden Glove schedule. Again, it's a little shorter than usual. And again, focusing primarily, looks like, on both the novice and the open divisions. Now, the semifinals will take place on Saturday, October 30th at Rosecroft Raceway at 7:30 p.m. We'll be all through Rosecroft Raceway coming up, all right? So everything will be at Rosecroft Raceway. The quarterfinals are this week, October 23rd. Next week, Saturday, October 30th, the semifinals. The Washington Golden Gloves Championships will be held on Saturday, November 20th at 7:30 p.m. So the Golden Gloves Championships, Saturday, November 20th at 7:30 p.m. The Virginia, North Carolina Golden Gloves Championships will be at Rosecroft Raceway as well. That'll be on Friday and Saturday, November 12th and 13th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. So that'll be the Virginia, North Carolina Golden Gloves. Now, the D.C., Maryland, and Delaware Golden Glove boxers out of the Washington Golden Gloves Championships will face the winners from the Virginia, North Carolina Golden Glove Championships on Saturday, December 4th. And the starting time's a little different. Starting time is 7 p.m. Eastern Time at Rosecroft Raceway. So that is the schedule for the Washington Golden Gloves for this year. Of course, it comes back after, I believe, a 2-year absence. They didn't do it in, I don't think they definitely didn't do it in 2020. I'm not even sure they did it in 2019, kind of think of it, because of everything going on. But they definitely did not do it in 2020. So if I'm wrong, I may be wrong about that, though. But again, the Golden Gloves will take place starting on Saturday, October 23rd. All of it will be at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. So a lot going on. Finally, you can finally say that after a year of having to struggle with the COVID and everything. It's really nice to say a lot going on in the Beltway. Now, again, due to my situation as far as my mother's concerned, a lot of things I have to deal with, I don't know if I'll be able to make any of the events going on this week. I know my partner, Juan Marshall, will be at a lot of them, so he'll get a lot of those firsthand details about that as well. So we'll see what happens as we continue. Now, this week, this actually, as we record this, it happened yesterday, Saturday, October 16th. We had an event that took place, and I'm really sorry I didn't get a chance to be there for it. I had to work, but it was a tribute to a man that was truly one of the greatest coaches. In fact, maybe one of the two greatest coaches I've ever worked with. Actually, three greatest coaches I've ever. Well, I should say four, really. Four greatest coaches I've ever worked with. You know, I worked with A.B. Williamson for years. I didn't work a lot with Butch Beard, but I got a chance to get to know him a little bit. But A.B. Williamson was the man I worked with a lot over at Howard when I was working as the public address announcer over there. Outstanding man. I also got a chance to work with women's coach Sonia Tyler. I think still the greatest women's coach I've ever worked with, but that's kind of, there's a tie for that. Let me say there's a tie for that because Derek Brown of Coppin State, the other great women's coach that I had a chance to work with. But the man I'm going to talk about today got his honors. Thank God he got his honors while he was still with us. And he was in good health. And I saw the tribute they did yesterday. And the day they had for him, he was in great shape. He was wonderful, gave a great speech. And the main event of that tribute they had yesterday was the imprint of his signature, Ron Fang Mitchell, his signature on the court at the PEC Arena in Baltimore at Coppin State. And of course, we're talking about the man known as Fang, Ron Fang Mitchell. And Ron Fang Mitchell was someone who I had the utmost pleasure of working with for 21 years. He was Coppin State's men's basketball coach from 1986 to 2014, 28 years. And I got to work with him for 21 of those years. And it was a remarkable journey. And I'll never forget the first time I had a chance to talk with Fang. It was in his office. I had just come over from Howard. And to go over the situation, how I got to Coppin from Howard. I'd worked at Howard as the public address announcer for a total of 7 years. Many of those years I was as a student there at Howard in the School of Communications. And, you know, the guy who was the sports information director at the time was a Howard alumnus, and he actually was my schoolmate at Howard, Jesse Batten. And he went over to Coppin. He worked as the assistant sports information director the legendary Ed Hill Jr., and he got the job at Coppin State, was working there as sports information director, and he told me they needed a PA announcer. So I went over there and came over there, and I've been there ever since. And I know Jesse, I talked to Jesse about a year or so, a couple years ago, actually. He said the best move he ever made as sports information director was hiring me as the announcer. And, I've been there through a lot of sports information directors, a number of coaches over the years, but, Coppin State has treated me well. But Fang Mitchell, they treated me outstandingly well, I should say that. But Fang Mitchell was there. And the first time I met Fang, I talked to Fang. First thing he said to me was, "Welcome to the winning side." Now, at that time, even before I got there, Coppin State was doing some winning. They had gotten to the NCAA tournament in 1990. Of course, they had a great win against Maryland at Cole Fieldhouse at that time, and to the point where Maryland never played them again. While Gary Williams was the coach at Maryland, he never played them again because Coppin State beat them on their home floor. It was amazing. So they had great players there. Of course, they had Larry Stewart and Phil Booth and Larry Yarbrough and so many great players at Coppin State when he first got there, when Fang Mitchell first got there. I came along in 1993, and the winning continued. And in fact, in some ways, it elevated because, of course, in 1997, that was the year that Coppin won the MEAC title, and they went into the first round of the NCAA tournament, and they beat, and actually they devastated, in all honesty, University of South Carolina, who I believe was the 6th ranked team in the nation at the time. And they beat them by 13 points, which is, to this day, the largest winning margin for a number 15 seed in NCAA history. It definitely ranks as one of the greatest upsets in NCAA history. And I was there for that. I was there in 2008 when both the men's and the women's team won the MEAC title and both went to the NCAA tournament. Great, great times. But Fang Mitchell was truly an outstanding coach. Outstanding man as well. And he finally got his and let me rephrase this. When Fang was, for lack of a better term, fired in 2014, I thought for years they should have put his name on that court, especially when it got into, because the physical education complex, the PEC arena, we call it now, is basically the house that Fang built. And I'm so glad that the host for the ceremony, great coach and player Stephanie Reddy, good friend of mine as well, Stephanie Reddy, she called it the house that Fang built, because that's exactly what it was. There's no question about that. And to have his name on that court. Now, I always thought, and this is my opinion, I thought the name should have been both for Ron Fang Mitchell and Derek Brown. Why do I say that? Because Derek Brown was Fang's assistant for a number of those winning years. He was Fang's assistant. And then when Fang Mitchell became the athletic director of Coppin State, he hired Derek Brown to serve, he asked Derek Brown, to serve as the women's coach for the team. Now, what happened was, and I may have told this story before, Coppin State had a coach by the name of Jenny Hall. And Jenny Hall was doing okay with the team. But one day, she was on a road game, and she decided not to show up. And that got her fired and didn't know what to do. We could have had Billy Wilson, who was the assistant at the time. I think she stood in for 1 or 2 games as the head coach. But finally, Fang Mitchell, as athletic director, decided to hire Derek as the women's coach. Now, this was interesting because Derek was still the men's assistant coach under Fang. And he had to go. He traveled from one day he'd be in one place for the men. Next night he'd be in another place for the women. And as that, he was also the softball coach at Coppin at that time as well. So he did a lot. He had a lot of frequent fire miles, to say the least. But things settled down. Fang got some new coaches, and Derek was able to concentrate on the women's team. They went on to win some great matches. They won, one point, they were 3-time Mid-Eastern Athletic champions. They went to 3 NCAAs and 1 NIT and won an NIT game. They were the first women's team in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference to do that. So it just great person. But again, I thought Mitchell and Derek Brown should have been, their names both should have been on the court. That's just my personal opinion. But Fang Mitchell was an outstanding coach. And he deserved the tributes that he got yesterday. Many of his former coaches and players were there. They were great. Speeches by the current coaches, Juan Dixon and Laura Harper. Juan Dixon said, "We need you within the program. This is our program. We need your guidance, need your leadership, need your support." So I really appreciated that. So, Fang left kind of on a bad note with the previous athletic director, Derek Ramsey. I don't think they got along too well. But he's now been, for lack of a better term, welcomed back into the fold. And I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's right to say that. Because I don't think he ever was really outside the fold. He may have thought he was. But Fang's legacy will always be at Coppin State. He is the man that built that program. And everything that Juan Dixon and even Laura Harper do as coaches is a reflection of what Fang started at Coppin State. And I actually saw the signature on the court the night before the tribute. It was on the court when I did a volleyball game. I announced the volleyball game the night before. And to see it, and I even know it was covered by the volleyball stanchion, to see it, I had tears in my eyes, to be perfectly honest with you, because it was something that I have asked for years. Ever since Fang left Coppin, I have asked for that to happen. And I'm so glad that it's finally happened. So, again, I'm very, very pleased that, Coppin State was able to give Fang Mitchell his flowers, his just due, his accolades while he is still here. We're not talking about Fang in the past tense. Praise God. We are talking about him in the present tense, and hopefully he'll be a fixture here in Baltimore and a fixture at games at the Physical Education Complex at the PC Arena. Again, that was the house that Fang built, and I'm hoping he'll be there for a number of games. I look forward to talking to him again. I missed the event, so I look forward to really talking to Fang once again. An incredible person, Fang Mitchell. Again, with A.B. Williamson, Sonia Tyler, Derek Brown, and Fang Mitchell, I've been truly, truly, truly blessed to work with some legendary coaches. All 4 of those coaches are on the all-time MEAC coaching list, by the way. And Sonia Tyler, I believe, is still the winningest coach in MEAC history. Fang Mitchell, the winningest coach in men's basketball history. So in the MEAC. So again, just great weekend. No question about that. So congratulations once again to the legendary Ron Fang Mitchell. Truly one of the greatest coaches I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And that'll do it right here for the Boxing on About a Podcast Network. Again, once again, we thank you so much for your support, and thank you for your support during my time I'm going through now. And we look forward to talking to you again real soon. Boxing on About a Podcast Network brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Once again, you go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You'll get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, now endorsed by 2-time World Heavyweight Champion Big George Foreman. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. Thanks for joining us, everybody. My name is Gary Digital Williams. Once again, we thank you for joining us, and always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.